YouTube, what's going on? I got four cars here we're going to crack open. I feel like this is the most haulage I've had in, it feels like a long time. So, without further ado, we'll take a quick look here at this most recent release of the Toyota Land Cruiser, Miho exclusive. So the first car tonight, also a Miho exclusive from Auto World, limited to 3,600. This is the ever popular Golf Ford GT. This car has eluded me. I know a lot of you have seen this car. It's been out for a while. It just is a car that I have not had a chance to pick up yet. So 1965 Ford Gt40. This is an awesome little Auto World box, which is where this car will be stored, along with my entire Auto World collection. It's the one brand that I collect that I don't display. Just a phenomenal car. I mean, so this casting, I have the first two that came out, the red one and the blue one, and then I have the ultra red for the, I think it was the red one. And then I got the white one that came out in a licensed premium. This is the only exclusive that I have. I would like to get all of them, but there's no doubt about it, this deco is the nicest looking, outside of the ultra red, of course. But I think a lighter color, I think this car is much better suited for a lighter color. It just looks fantastic. Transparent lens headlights. When you appreciate this car as much as I do, the downside to it is it leads to somewhat of a disdain towards the Matchbox tooling, because this one is true to scale and it's a small little car, but the Matchbox tooling is huge. It's a lot longer, and so with that being said, I just can't appreciate the Matchbox tooling. I mean, I get that they're not true to scale, but that one is so far off that just doesn't do it for me. But this thing is great. Awesome car. Super happy to have this into the Auto World collection. I want to give a shout out to J-Car Diecast. So this next car, if any of you collect Johnny Lightning, or if any of you collect Toyotas, I would recommend going to Instagram to J-Car Diecast and buying this. He has a few of these left. This is going to be a very, very hard casting to find. So here you go. From 2018. It is a Bishop exclusive. I'm not quite sure what Bishop is. But this is an Indonesian release only, not commercially available in the US. It is so hard to find that I've been looking for 2 or 3 weeks on eBay, and there hasn't yet been one listed. So it's not going to be an easy truck to get. And they only made 1,200 of them. And, you know, with like the Mihos, they're making 24, 36, or 4,800. Excuse me. So to be made at a clip of only 1,200 with, I think, the most iconic Toyota deco, Toyota off-road deco that I've ever seen, that I think is actually out there, this is the one to have. So you guys should go check out J-Car Diecast on Instagram. He hooked me up with this and the Ford GT. And we're going to take a look at this. So for any of you that have collected for any amount of time, you'll probably recognize the deco on this casting. It's been used by Matchbox, Maisto, Jada, Hot Wheels. It's a very popular, very well-known Toyota deco. So I was kind of bummed out that Johnny Lightning did it as a Bishop exclusive because it made it a lot harder to find. I would have been perfectly fine if it was a Miho exclusive, but it was just a really hard casting to get my hands on. But I am very glad that I was able to track it down. So shout out again to J-Car Diecast. I appreciate it. If I was in a better cash situation, I would for sure at least buy a few more of these. Every now and then there's a car that comes around and I just get a feeling about it. This is one of those cars. I think of all these Toyota Land Cruisers that have come out, and I don't have all of them. I only have 9 of them. So like this blue one here is an older release. It is pretty cool though, because it does have working headlights. But all these other ones are pretty much a dime a dozen. There's another old one there. You know, this one here, the Miho BF Goodrich, it's probably my second favorite or third favorite. I like the yellow one quite a bit, in large part because of those wheels. But of all of these Land Cruisers, this one here is going to be the one to have. So you guys should jump on it and go get yourself one while you can, because there weren't many of these that made their way here to the US as far as I can tell. So we'll see what happens with all the rest of them that are still across the pond. I love the deco. The sponsor badges across the rocker are all the same as the BF Goodrich. It's like they used the same little tampo. So basically, going left to right, you have Champion spark plugs, Edelbrock, Holley, K&N, Fram, and STP. These are the only 2 that have been put out with the TRD graphics. So the difference is the BF Goodrich on top, they made 4,800. This one here, only 1,200. So it's definitely going to be a collectible model. And being the Toyota being the Toyota enthusiast that I am, it was definitely one that I wanted to get for my collection. So I love the deco. All right, now let's look at a couple other new exclusive Johnny Lightning releases. These are also Miho exclusives. These are limited to 2,400 a piece. Also a 2018, I think, copyright date. Yeah, 2018. All right. So these actually were part of the release for this. So when Johnny Lightning announced that they were doing it, it was a Johnny Lightning Baja release. And so for some reason, the Toyota came out before these other 2. But let's take a look here. It's a Jeep Cherokee Xj. This one features the Monster. At least I think it's Monster. I mean, it sure looks like Monster. Let's get it out of the package and have a look-see. Fun facts, the initial designs of the XJ were first sketched in 1978. The XJ was the first Jeep to make the body part of the frame, making the XJ a lightweight powerhouse. I don't know much about these, but I have owned 3 of these Jeep Cherokee Laredos. And I can tell you that they are beast. Alright, this thing is sick. I think that that's a Monster energy drink graphic, but it doesn't actually say Monster anywhere. Maybe the Monster is the 3 green lines. I don't know. I don't drink energy drinks, so I don't know. I could be way off base with that. But it does have BF Goodrich sponsorship. It's a really, really nice looking satin black. And it's got the black wheels. It's got the big knobby BF Goodrich all-terrain TA tires. And it's got the custom front bumper. Comes complete with a little brush guard. It's a little different than the front bumper on some of the earlier releases. It does have the winch. At least I think it does. Yeah, it does. So it does have the winch, but it is definitely a different front bumper than previous releases, at least any previous release that I have. It's also got the snorkel on the A-pillar. That is a killer car or truck or whatever. These actually also do have opening hoods. Let's see if I can get this thing open here without scratching the paint. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just not willing to scratch the paint. That's just such a killer deco on this thing. I love satin black. Satin anything. I'm just a big fan of satin colors on cars. So this thing is pretty rad. Alright, now I know it's a dark color. Probably doesn't show up too well on camera. But also coming in that release, the same casting, but a much brighter color. Also numbered to 2400. Shouldn't say numbered, limited to 2400. This one will show up a lot better on camera. Man, these are just so sick. Alright, so a couple other differences here before I get into the yellow one. So this one here, satin black finish on the body, satin black finish on the base. Production date of 12/12/2017. So it's only a few months ago that they ran production on these. Now this one here, you have a gloss black base. Same wheels and tires. The big knobby BF Goodrich. Man, that just looks outstanding. I love it. I absolutely love the casting. Man. I wish so badly that somebody would do a second or third gen Toyota 4Runner. A really nice premium detailed one. I'd really like to see Tomica Limited Vintage do it. But this thing is phenomenal. So, kind of an interesting thing with the black one here. You have a standard clear glass. With the yellow one, you have the privacy glass, which I am a fan of. Every car that I've ever owned, I've had privacy glass, otherwise known as tinted windows. If I ever purchased a car that didn't have tinted windows, the very first thing I would do with the car is have the windows tinted. Oh, shoot. That was almost messy. Okay. They made a lot of changes to the to this casting from its previous releases. This thing is just awesome. It's just so different. They feel so different from the older ones. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure this is the first time that we have seen these Jeep Cherokees with a metal body and a metal base. The previous releases came out under Tomy, and they are plastic base vehicles. So that's the first change. Looking at the Jeeps, you have painted headlights and indicators, which you also had on the previous releases. One of the biggest detail differences, though, this thing, oh no, the base is jacked up. Mounted crooked. Is it? Well, maybe not. No, it's straight. So here is a Tomy release. Now, this release, these wheels and tires did not come on this car. Now, the tires that came on it are the same tires without the white lettering, but the wheels that came on it were actually the black wheels that these other two have. But I'm just not much of a fan of black wheels in this scale because it hides so much of the detail. So I switched them out. I don't remember what I took this off of. I think it was a Dodge Ram. And I don't regret doing it one bit because I think this Cherokee looks 100 times better with the silver wheels. But I have to say, I'm pretty tempted to take these wheels off of this and put it on probably this yellow one. But I do kind of feel like the yellow one, like it's like the base, I think maybe the front axle might be pinched or something. Because it's definitely uneven. And it doesn't look like the base is mounted uneven. It just looks like when they spun the base in the front that the driver's side of the axle got pinched down. I mean, it's not log jammed or anything. It still rolls perfectly fine. But it's definitely going to affect the stance, which is a big issue for me. So I might actually get a replacement for it. I might be able to fix it, but usually that's not very likely to happen. Anyways, another big difference. If you look at the back here, these Cherokees had pretty nice detail with the headlights and the taillights. That, you know, you get a lot of stuff with Johnny Lightning that you didn't get with Hot Wheels and Matchbox, even at this time that this came out, which I think was, well, the copyright date on the base is 2012. That's right around the end of Johnny. But the new ones, you still get the detail, you just get a lot more of it. Oh yeah, you can see this thing is way, I think might be way more off than I think. And then I thought, yeah, that thing is totally jacked up. What is going on? The whole left side, the monster one kind of has it a little bit. Maybe not. That's a huge bummer. Huge bummer. I'm going to have to find a replacement for the yellow one now, because that's not going to work for me. I'm just too picky a collector. It looks awesome from the side here, because it looks like you have a ton of ground clearance. It looks like it's got a nice lift on it. But then you turn it to this side, and that's probably closer to the ride height that it will have. But if you look at it straight on, definitely has a gangster lean. That's pretty cool. The license plate is upside down. Rollover, another Arizona plate. By the way, I've noticed a lot of these Toyotas have Arizona plates as well, including the new Baja, or not, yeah, the new Bishop Baja has an Arizona plate. So that's pretty cool. Here's the front view. This custom front bumper, if it was used in the releases pre-round 2, I never saw it. It's definitely different than this custom front bumper here. This one just has the winch. It doesn't have the brush guard. And this one has the winch and the brush guard, so a lot different. It's a bummer about that base. I mean, it still rolls really nice. I'm sure it'll take decent pictures if I can catch it at the right angle. But it's definitely jacked up. It looks like it was spun kind of cattywampus. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Such a nice casting, and it's probably going to end up going to waste. The only thing I can think of is maybe to drill it apart and to try to kind of reset everything in there. I just hate doing that, but that might be necessary. So anyways, you know, as a collector of mostly JDM, I mean, I collect a lot of stuff, but the main stuff that I collect, my main thing is Greenlight. Outside of that, I like premium detailed Japanese cars, which pretty much means Tomica Limited Vintage, Konami, Kyosho, stuff like that. And obviously, I like Auto World a lot. I do buy select Johnny Lightning castings. The Cherokee is one of them. But one thing that I really enjoy collecting that is actually kind of hard to find is premium detailed 4x4s. There really isn't a lot of this type of stuff out there. So it's fun when you come across it. And this just bugs me because I really like the way the yellow one looks a lot better. I think it's the best looking of all three of these. So it's such a bummer that it's all jacked up. Well, the other option is to send this off to Custom Farm Trucks to have him do his magic on it. But the problem is the base is spun crooked, so it wouldn't just be, you know, it wouldn't be simple. He would probably have to drill it too. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Thing is so cool looking though. The yellow, the light color of yellow with the smoke tint windows and the black wheels. On this one, actually, the black wheels look really good. Now, the other thing that I was kind of considering was maybe doing one of these safari racks on a Cherokee. instead of the Wagoneer. So you can't really do a test fit. I have to pull one of these tires off to do that. And I'm not really prepared to do that, but I would imagine it would look awesome. And so we're 25 minutes in. The last thing I wanted to touch on real quick in this video is I just want to make mention of the round 2 relaunch of the Johnny Lightning brand, because the first couple of releases were pretty bad. We were lucky enough to get this in that first release, although the wheels and tires that were on it were pretty pathetic. But outside of that, their first couple releases were awful. In fact, I can still find some of them on the pegs here in Phoenix. That's how, I mean, they just were not popular. But round 2 has been fairly responsive to what collectors have been saying. And since that first release, we have seen a lot of very popular castings, like the Land Cruiser. We've seen the 95 Impala. We've seen now the Cherokees. We've seen the 85 Cutlass. So they're bringing a lot of them back, and there's still a few that they haven't gotten to yet, like the Porsches. Now, we did see the Datsun 260Z. That's another, or might be a 280Z. We saw that one come back. But the one that I want to see the most at this point is the 81 Malibu. That's the one car, pretty much any G-body car. And I don't doubt that they'll do it. The Honda CRX is on its way back out. Those things look so unbelievable. I cannot wait to get those. So it's nice, you know, that they are doing these awesome castings and putting the round 2 touch on them with the level of detail. If only they could step up their game a little bit with the quality control. Well, I mean, with these being exclusives and having to have them shipped and everything, these are $10 to $12 cars. So to get one that's all jacked up like this is very frustrating. But other than that, I think this little 3-car Baja set is definitely a hot-looking 4x4 set. And for all you Johnny Lightning collectors or 4x4 collectors or whatever, you know, whatever kind of collector you are, these 3 castings certainly wouldn't make your collection any worse. I would definitely recommend, though, that you all go and get yourself one of those, because that's going to be, in 5 years, that one there is going to be impossible. All right, that does it. Sorry, it was kind of a sloppy video. It's real late. I need to get to bed. I got to work tomorrow. You all have an excellent Friday. Happy hunting. And I'll holler at the next video.